And welcome back to the Buckle Up Podcast universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm actor Brandon Rush. I've been involved in 80 TV show and film productions over the last 16 years of my career. Some of the biggest shows ever created in the United States: Criminal Minds, Blue Bloods, FBI with Dick Wolf, Power Book 2 Ghost. That's actually Anita writing me now, who's going to be our guest today. Um, I think I said Minds already. Sons of Anarchy, Scandal. That's just to name a few. Credited with 52, speaking real specifically. And I launched a podcast with my mom, Mama Rush, who is a pharmaceutical sales specialist. And we've just been having a great time. We've done 157 episodes, and today will be 158 with a friend of mine who is executive casting assistant, Anita Brajkovich, in London, United Kingdom, with Dan Hubbard. She has been an executive casting assistant working closely with Dan Hubbard across a range of film, television projects, including most recently wrapping on The Gentleman Season 2, Mobland Season 2, The Uprising. Alongside her work in casting, she's also an actress or an actor, giving her a unique perspective on both sides of the audition room. With firsthand insight into how decisions are really made, Anita has developed a keen eye for subtle choices that can elevate an audition from solid to unforgettable. She is passionate about demystifying the casting process and sharing the often unspoken details that actors aren't always told, but that can make all the difference. I am excited to have Anita on here because if I didn't say this earlier, I've been blessed to be friends with her for going on 11 years, 2014, 2015. She's met her in Los Angeles, and she was there when I got my first big break in television, which was with Criminal Minds. And then my career has just been blessed since then. And then I'm very happy for her because I know that she has worked extremely hard to get to where she is today. So it's one of those rare instances where you know a person that you care about and that they work extremely hard in everything that they've ever done. And for her to be in this position of working as a executive casting assistant, she is a person that is so deserving of that. And I know that she is there to help other actresses and actors out there and help the casting community and make the whole entire film business as a whole better. So that's amazing that she's bringing her talents to that. As I said, today will be our 158th episode. We have had people from all different walks of life. Our podcast is global. We are in 105 countries. We are on 6 continents, really big in the UK, actually, and Australia, and the United States, but that's besides the point. But 105 countries, 6 continents, 1,106 cities as of yesterday. I didn't get a chance to check it today, but with us having all these different people from walks of life, we've had people through the 80 TV show and film productions that I've worked with that have been on this podcast. We have had people in the military, veterans, uh, doctors, lawyers, nurses, small business owners, professors. We are all about, my mother and I, about hearing people's stories because I think that truly makes a difference. Because our goal is to hopefully inspire the next generation and help them out there, or people that might be thinking about a career change or don't really know how things work. And with us having so many different people, I've had friends from Canada on here. I've had friends from Africa on here. I've had friends from New Zealand, Australia. Anita's originally from Australia, so she's coming on here today for the first time. And I think I said Italy too, which was really special. And that episode's actually, most of it's in Italian. So if you happen to speak Italian, that's a great episode with Giovanni and Roberta Sparta, which was a really good one. But yeah, we're about to welcome Anita here any moment now, and we're looking forward to it. So welcome to the Buckle Up Podcast universe. Make sure that if you would like to support us, that you download our episodes would be great. We're on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can find us on Instagram at BrandonRush. That's Brandon Rush. That's my handle. And then we also have the Buckle Up Podcast Instagram handle, which is BuckleUppodcast. I was pretty good at spelling, hopefully there. You can write us there if you're ever interested in being on a guest. We're really down to earth, so I don't mind people reaching out to me. Either you can write my comments or you can write my DMs. I always say it's almost better to, if you write me a DM, to put it on my comment first so that I check just say, hey, Brandon, check your DM on either the Buckle Up Podcast handle or the Instagram handle, so I know to look for it because I get a lot of messages in general. So yeah, I'm excited to have Anita on here. She's going to be great today. Zoom. Let's see here. And then I did everything but press the right button to let her in. Here we go. Whew. All right.
Hello.
Hello, Anita. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We are doing absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for coming on. We are recording, just so you know.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I've been trying to get you on for a while now. I want to make sure that I said your name correctly, which is Anita Brajkovich.
Thank you.
And Anita, we like to welcome you to the Buckle Up Podcast with Brandon Rush and
Mama Rush. Hey, Anita, how are you?
Hi, Mama. I can't believe we've never met. This is just absurd to me.
Isn't that something? But it seems as if I know you because Brandon has known you and he's always mentioned you. And I had never seen until today, how beautiful you are.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you very much.
And you are just so stunningly beautiful.
You're very kind. Thank you, Mama.
And you're very humble.
Making me blush.
That's a good thing. Well, Anita, today is going to be all about. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't even know where Tanita came from. I'm like, I don't even know it's Tanita. Today it's going to be all about you and how does a girl from Australia end up getting into, or female or woman, sorry, end up working as an executive casting assistant. If you can explain to us what that is too, as well.
So I make a joke with my boss, Dan Hubbard, who is just the most incredible man ever. I make a joke with him. Executive sort of came from, I started as his PA.
Okay.
And then because I do both PA and casting, I call myself executive. And he just laughed at me because I was like, can I change my signature on my email? It just sounds better. He's like, go on, I don't care what you do.
Yeah. That's awesome though.
But sorry, how did I come from Australia to working with Dan?
How do you go to being in London? Because not everybody knows London. From London, how do you go from Australia all the way to here? How do you get there? You can tell us however you want to.
Oh my gosh, how much time do you guys have?
45 minutes to an hour, so you're good.
Okay, Cliff Notes. I left Sydney in 2013 to work on private yachts. So I was acting on a local TV show called Home and Away, which is like your guys' Days of Our Lives or Born to Be Beautiful. It's a soap. It's like one of our most popular soaps. And I started out doing extra work, would occasionally have lines here and there, really enjoyed it. And then wanted to travel. So I started working on private yachts, flew to the south of France and did that for 6-7 years. And then the production Succession came on board to film. I think it was the last episode of season 1 and the first episode of season 2. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I miss this. I need to get back into this. Like just that fire never dies, does it? So I moved to London and thought, okay, how can I get back into acting, get back into the industry? And so I started acting and I was working day jobs as a waitress. And I sort of just found myself banging my head against the wall, being like, this isn't feeding my creativity. How can I find a 9-to-5 that really helps me do both? So I lied on my CV, which I do not recommend to do. And I started working at an agency. I wasn't there for very long. I discovered very quickly that wasn't for me. But one of the very nice agents at the agency introduced me to Dan. And I took the skills that I had and adapted them into working with a casting director. And I was very honest with him. I said, look, I am an actor. I do want to still pursue that, but I'm just so fascinated by casting, and I really want to champion young actors and actors of so many different ethnicities, because we need to see more faces on screen. And just there's so much talent out there that is so undiscovered. So my biggest thing has always been trying to get as many people in the room who don't have the opportunity to be in the room, and not just seeing the same faces in the same shows. Like, I understand that a lot of the time funding and finances to, big names are needed to secure the financing, but there's just so much talent out there that I've just wanted to give as many people an opportunity as I possibly can. And Dan's been so wonderful with trying to do that as well.
Mm-hmm. Anita, I just say that was absolutely beautiful. You just saying the fact that you wanted to, this world is beautiful and it is diverse. And the fact that one of your initial goals was just to make sure that like everything is represented and all these different people with different talents. I think that's important. In fact, that's the first time I ever heard someone say that. And I think that's so important, because that's something that I hear just in different podcasts that the people overlook. That's something that's important, that like, hey, the world's a mixed up place. You should have all these people that are able to represent these different kind of stories that are so nourishing and rich. But like, you can get that in the world by being diverse like that. So I appreciate you saying that. That's actually really special. I haven't heard that until now. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Jim Clemente, who
yes, he did.
is a friend of mine on Criminal Minds, he's a person that's advocated hard for diverse casts. And in everything he does, he said the world's a real boring place if everybody was just all the same. So I think you and Jim are some people there, same path.
Aligned in that way. Love that.
Absolutely. So you're from, as you said before, you're from Australia and now working in major film and TV casting. With that journey so far, how's that been? Now that you've been on both, you've been an actress and you're on the casting side. What is that like? Just what is a typical casting session like for you?
It's so fascinating, because I feel as if I've just been able to learn so much. And in any workshops that I host, because I have that knowledge, or some knowledge of both sides, it's just really wonderful to try and tell the actors what I've learned for myself, like things that they don't know that they need to know, that was such a shock to me. I didn't know what half of the information is that I've learned throughout the 2 years that I've been casting now. So it's tricky trying to juggle both, because casting is so intense, and trying to find time to really work on a self-tape as well. Trying to balance the two can be tricky. But I love both, and they're both my plan A. And I get so many people coming up to me saying, oh, but there's going to be a time where you're going to have to choose. And to those people I say, no, they're both my plan A. And if anyone ever tries to tell you otherwise, you can politely tell them to leave.
Absolutely. I think it's good that you have that perspective. First off, thank you for even introducing me to the workshops in London. That's made a huge difference in my life, and I can't thank you enough for a lot. But with doing those showcases, being able to learn more about how things work in the United Kingdom, which is it's actually different from the United States a bit. But it was so beautiful to see how welcoming everybody was, which was something I wasn't really used to, because it's so I feel like people are focused more on the competitiveness of everything in the States from the things I've seen. But in London, man, everybody was like, oh yeah, great job. That was amazing. Like, that's so good. Let's be friends. And I'm like, wow, I'm not used to that.
Such a community over here.
It is. And I think like that, and that helped, and that breeds better work, I think.
Yeah, so definitely having a positive environment helps people feel settled, and definitely helps ease your mind and to feel welcome into a room.
Absolutely.
Well, let me mention something before and I want to hear all about casting and acting and all of this. But you and Brandon, you all met in where?
Los Angeles?
England?
Los Angeles. No, Mom. Los Angeles. I haven't been.
Yeah, so I want to hear that story, that part of it, and how you all came to meet. And I think what God always does, he makes positive people with beautiful energies meet, and then they form a positive relationship as far as professional friendship. I've done that with my friends as well. So tell us a little bit about that part, and then we'll move on to more of the casting.
I can make it simple. It's we met in Los Angeles and Westwood, and we've been friends ever since.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
She knows my friends too. It's awesome.
Who is the voice of your
Oh yeah, that's important.
of your voicemail, Brandon?
So I always thought Anita had an amazing voice. So I asked her in 2015 if she would do a voice recording for my voicemail. And since 2015, she has been the voice of my voicemail because her voice sounds so professional and elegant. And I just thought that it would be amazing. Like I was like, hey, you know what? It'd be cool to if they have like this amazing Australian voice, and like George is so perfect that I'm like, could she do the voicemail for me? So she has been that voicemail, and I can't tell you how many people
and the Buckle Up voice, no?
What's that?
And the Buckle Up podcast voice.
Yeah, and I was gonna have you say it. I didn't want to admit it out loud, but I'm glad you said it. And Anita is the voice of the Buckle Up podcast. She is our opening for the show. I went to her again and I asked her.
I'm so happy to hear that because I wanted to know who is behind the voice. And it's so great. Anita, you're that one with that calming voice that comes on, and it's so refreshing to know that this voice, you are behind that voice. This is wonderful. So thank you so much.
But this is how far back our friendship goes as well, is Brandon, I have a little surprise.
Okay.
It's something that your dad requested of me years and years and years ago. And I bought today's one.
Oh, wow. So lift it up a little bit. We can't quite see.
Your dad asked me for the Times in London newspaper, and I didn't get a chance to send it over. But I thought that I would purchase one today in memory of him.
Oh, it gives me chills. Wait a minute. Let me see the date on that, please, Anita.
The date's today, Mom, but
today.
Today, but your dad David had requested to see it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Is that your picture?
It's not. It's not.
Okay, all right.
Anita, that's really sweet of you.
That's
that does mean a lot to me because I remember my dad asked Anita for a London, like a paper from England or London. And for you to bring that today, that's really special. I know my dad thought so highly of you, and she would talk to him on the phone from time to time. And that means a lot to me, Anita. You're a sweetheart all the way.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Absolutely. She remembered, and had your daddy been here to thank her, he would have. But Brandon, you're thanking her now. And so that means, Anita, you're very special because you don't forget a request made by someone that you think is most important. And with Brandon's dad going on to be with the Lord, dying of pancreatic cancer, that's so significant today. That means he still lives in this earth. And so thank you for that. So now what we're going to ask about the self tapes. I want to find a little bit about those self tapes that I see Brandon doing, and you had to do them too. And so talk about those a little bit.
Self tapes, I think I'm so 50-50 with. I think that obviously since COVID, everything has moved a lot more onto self tapes. One thing I absolutely respect about Dan, my boss, is that he is still so adamant at getting as many people in the room as possible, even for one-liners. Like he loves being in the room and loves meeting the actors and wants to see and work with them, and he just has so much joy and pleasure in doing that. However, if we can only have 10 people in the room per role, that means that we can then send out 10 more or 20 more, however, I mean, I'm just saying numbers here, however many self-tapes per role, so we can see more actors, which is so much more beneficial to being able to broaden that range of
Mhm.
how many actors we can see per role. And I personally, I find it interesting because some actors are wonderful on self-tape and some actors thrive better in the room.
Mhm.
It's also difficult when actors are giving a self-tape and they're given, a small brief description of the character, but then they don't get much else to go off. Where if you're in the room, the casting director can mention one thing and it completely change. It can
Mhm.
completely change the
Mhm.
tape and the direction of where the initial thought was that the actor had. So it's so hit and miss. Like that, I think that they're wonderful that you can do them, but I'm still so heavy on getting as many actors in the room as possible.
Mm. It's interesting. How many self tapes do or have you ever listened to or seen for a role?
It depends. That's so subjective. There's been roles where a director has turned around and seen 50 tapes and said no,
Mm.
and then we'd go again, we'd do another
Wow.
round.
Oh,
And
wow.
Mhm.
that's happened a couple of times for that one particular role. But then there's also
Mm.
been times where you'd see maybe 8 people or 10 people and immediately you can find
Mm.
the talent. So it just depends.
Okay. Anita, I have a question to bounce off of with that one. On that, using that specific instance where you said that the director went through 50 people and he didn't like any of them, or he or she didn't like any of them. Now, was that a thing where you guys called who? I don't know. I'll say in LA specifically. I'm going to use LA as an example because it's not true of New York. In LA specifically, a certain group of agents are able to submit who they want to first. It feels like they're able to get in the people they want to because sometimes they have people connected to that project. And then from there, if that doesn't work out, then it kind of branches out from there. With that particular situation, was it where maybe you guys thought, I don't, because London could be completely different. Was it where all these different agencies sent in these actresses or actors and it just happened that none of them were right for what the director was looking for? Or was it and then you guys had to expand it, or was it just kind of like how did that situation kind of work, or a situation similar to that?
So usually for the larger roles, we will have, a top 100, 200 list of agents that
Oh,
we would send the role to first, and before then going wider. That is usually how we would work it.
Mm.
okay. Well, shout out to the people that got called in the wider range. And the only reason I say that, Anita, and I'm gonna speak for myself personally, is a lot of good in life in general, even with sports team and stuff, the best talent doesn't always go to the best team. Sometimes it could be a person you know. Actually, sports is different. I take that out because sports is different. But when it comes to acting, which can be subjective, it not or who you know or what it is, you can be with a certain agency that gets you in because I see a lot of shows in the States where did this no name person come from? They don't have any credits, but yet somehow they're represented by this big agency. And there's this one show that I see. I look through these people's resume and I'm like, it shows a great show, but I'm like, how the heck did they're all like for the star cast, they're represented by the same agent. And I'm like, wow, it didn't even go past that. It was everybody was in house. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I like the fact that of bringing in more people to kind of see because there is a lot of talent out there. I'm discovering
Everyone
Mhm.
talent.
loves a boutique agent, definitely. And in regards to seeing uh, actors that are with the same agency, that can usually be done as a package deal. So the producer may like CAA, for example, have a relationship with some of the agents there, and then be able to package a few
Oh.
actors. So you can sometimes get better deals
Uh,
financially with
Oh,
packaging.
okay.
Sometimes that's not always the case, but that can
Mm-hmm.
be a way to go about it as well.
Mm.
I'm so glad you said that because not a lot of people know that. In fact, I didn't know that per
Mm-mm.
se until I looked it up and saw all these people at the same agency. I'm like, oh, something's going on here that's not really, something's not vibing correct. But I'm glad that you broke it down. It's a package deal with having the same people in that thing. And then with that situation, who did you all end up going with? Was it someone within the 100 realm or was it someone outside?
For that particular role, it was actually someone wider, I believe. Very,
Mm.
very talented actor. And You'll see him in a few shows in the UK soon. He's
Heck yeah.
wonderful.
Okay, good.
Mm.
And that's the beauty of it. By going in that wider range, you get to see. And even when you're talking originally about the fact of there's so much diverse talent out there, there's people that don't get a chance to necessarily get seen. And then you do that wider scope of things. Like, hold on a second, who's this? I didn't know that they were out there, and so you guys made this amazing discovery. Which good on you all for doing that.
Oh,
You go ahead, Mom. You're good.
yeah. One thing I love about you, Anita, is that you have worked both sides of the equation, I call it. You worked both sides. And so you know the struggle that actors go through in order to get seen. It's just like I always say in any business, I'm a scientist, any business. If I know behind the scenes what it takes to make what I do work well, then I have a better appreciation for the equation. And so, since you've been an actress, and casting, you can actually sympathize with the whole process. Have you ever felt yourself going to a point that you push more when someone has said no, but you see it both sides?
Never push more. I've tried to give the actor more opportunity at if they would like to go again in the room and try again. But I don't like to push. I think acting is mentally such an intense job, and I never want to make anyone feel uncomfortable in a room.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely made me sympathize a lot more. Not more, but I definitely sympathize with actors in a room, and I treat them how I would want to be treated. So there was
Mm-hmm.
a scene that we did that was quite emotionally vulnerable and intense,
Mm-hmm.
where the actors were getting to a place where they were really upset and crying and angry at the same time, and
Mm-hmm.
it was women that were doing the scene, and I stopped them after and I said, can I get you water, can I get you tissues, do you want to sit down for a minute, take a breath,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you're ready we'll go again. So it's just about it's human nature, isn't it, just having that and love and support for who's in the room with you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that sounds. What mistakes do talented actors make?
I think we can get in our heads so much and think about what is it that the casting director wants instead of what is my version of this role.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely some actors can try and force it too much by not being authentically themselves and finding it within themselves, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to just coming as they are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What separates a good audition from one that nobody forgets?
Oh, great question. There was one audition that has stuck with me for over a year now,
Mm-hmm.
and I just love a physicality, seeing someone do something physically to really set me into the space of where the scene is set. And there was this man who started this scene standing on a chair. So his top half is completely out of shot, and he's yelling at something. It makes sense in the scene, but he's yelling at something, screaming at it, and then he sits down, he starts his scene and starts his conversation. I was just like, that is brilliant. It's brilliant, so different. I was like, good for you.
Yeah. Is there another instance you can think of too, Anita?
Yes, there was this other gentleman who did an audition, and it was sort of an interrogation, or
Mm-hmm.
a mobster was threatening someone. And
Mm-hmm.
during it, he was measuring a suit,
Oh wow.
Oh.
right? Just like a completely different action that just threw me. And I just immediately was so locked in. So I just love an action.
Okay. And along those lines, Anita, I want to say this. Even if those two people that you saw didn't get that part, because they did that, did you say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to put this person in a pile over here. If something else comes up, I'm going to call this person in for that.
Absolutely. And we always do that, especially with Mobland, the series with 101 Productions and Paramount Plus, is we will often re-audition actors who did such a strong tape that didn't get a particular role. And we do always do that.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a series of casting questions here, Anita, because I want to make sure we get them. What actually happens after someone sends in a self-tape?
We will watch all of the tapes and we'll select our favorites, and then we will compare those favorites and break them down into a very small top number, and then pencil those roles and then send those over to the producers. The producers will pick their selects, and then the director will pick their select, pardon me, and then that select and the additionals will go over to approval to the studio, and we'll need to get sign off. And that's what a lot of actors don't realize as well, is so many people need to say yes. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
I am so glad, Anita, one of the biggest things I've done, I've had to defend casting associates, I've had to defend casting assistants, I've had to defend casting directors, because what you just said, and I appreciate you for saying that, is that process of how many people have to say yes. So many, and then I feel like if you're in this business, you should know not only know your craft, but know the business side of it. You all do have to go through all those different processes, all those different people in order to make that decision. Jessica Sherman, who came on here the other day, she's a big casting director with April Webster. She broke that down too. She's like, man, sometimes we have 30, 40 people having to make a whole entire decision for you to get that part. And so I think it's so important that you mentioned that today, so people hear that. And you aren't to blame here. You know, you all do your best. You fight and champion for actors the best of your ability, but it's out of your hands after it leaves the audition room, and you're able to guide it. You know, you guys are able to do your best because you guys want people to succeed. It makes your job easy.
Absolutely. We facilitate the room. We bring in the actors. We say who we think are the strongest.
Yeah.
And then it's out of our hands. We can, as much as we try and fight, you know, sometimes it doesn't go the way that we were expecting it to, and then other times it does. But there's a lot of chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask a question about that. What are casting directors noticing that actors may not notice?
What are we noticing? Truth. I would say a lot of truth. Dan is very strong on authenticity and, you know, being genuine. Like we cast a lot of Middle Eastern roles, and we do try our hardest for, I mean, we just did it in, I don't know if I can say that. Let me not say that. I was going to say we just did it in a series, but I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah, that's
good. But a particular country in the Middle East, and we tried really hard to have an actor from or with history of that country.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's important. And representation too with that. That's Mom, was that the other part of your question? Was it two parts?
Yeah, that's a part of that one. That's fine. She answered it beautifully.
Okay. Anita, what do let's see here. What are I think you said that. What are casting directors noticing? Have we said that one, Mom? That's one you just said, I think.
Yeah, I just said it.
Okay. What is something that actors completely misunderstand about the casting process? Is there anything else you can think of that they might not understand?
How long it may take to come back as well. Sometimes we put an actor on pencil and they may be on pencil for a couple weeks because then a new episode has come in or it's been rewritten, and then that character has been pushed until a later block or something. So just us trying to get back to the agents, which they do chase as, you know, they're doing their job. Actors want to know if they've booked, especially if they've been on pencil for a little while, but just some things may take longer.
Okay. And Anita, I think by what you guys call penciling over there is, I believe, what we call pinning over here in the States.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm just for any of our American audience out there. I believe that's what Anita's saying. That like if you're pinned for a role, meaning the fact that like a veil check slash, hey, you're pinned for this part, hold this spot. That is what you're saying for the UK version, correct?
Exactly.
Thank you. I just want to make sure we had it correct here.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask a question about that penciling and pending for a role. When you pin someone or pencil someone for a role, what, do you get back and tell who gets back and tell that particular person? Because it's like me going for a job and they say, are you available for the next 2 months? We're in the process of making those decisions. And so an actor, the same thing, putting aside that time. So how soon, when you pencil or you pen a role, that you get back with an actor to tell the actor he or she did not get that role so they can move on?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's so important to do that as well. We will always email every single actor who is, well, actor, agent who, for the actor who is auditioned for every single role.
Oh, that's
Dan is
great.
huge on that. He loves to, yeah, he really is very strong on that. And we won't do it until we have signed, the actor has signed the CAN.
Good.
So the casting notice. So then it has been completely official.
Great.
So they need to get approval from the studio, and then we'll go to the cans, and then we will release.
Okay.
Anita,
What is
one
the
more word for
can?
fun.
I'm not sure about the can.
That's what I was going to ask. I don't know that one either.
Yeah, what is the can?
The casting notice. So the can is the document before it goes to the steps, and basically the contract.
Okay.
Just so getting technical.
Yeah, it's no. I'm glad you said, because it's a different term. It's different. There's two terms. Your term's different from over in the stateside term of it. That's why I was only asking for clarity, and I'm glad Mom asked for clarity too. Let's see here. What makes? Oh, we already said that one. What's something simple actors can change tomorrow that would improve their auditions immediately?
Your first line is so important.
Okay.
Your first, like, focus so much energy on how that first line lands. Because really? That is the difference between getting my attention. That, like, if there's an action at first, or how you lead into that. Brandon, have you ever done, I mean, I try and do this, there's this scene that I bring into a lot of my workshops, and the first director's note, the first note is hysterically laughing.
Okay.
And it's just so, it's so awkward.
Yeah.
It's so awkward. No one's going to just pull out like a hysterically laughing. So then how do you lean into that? How do you lead up to that?
Okay.
So you would add, like, naturally you would ad-lib a little bit beforehand to try and get to that. Absolutely. I would want to maybe see, again, depending on your director, I wouldn't do it for an American TV series or for a soap because they're very particular on word for word. But knowing your director, so knowing that Guy Ritchie loves improv, I'm ad-libbing, or I'm throwing a line in there before the line. Because if I'm casting and I'm seeing, this is not a realistic number, but if I'm seeing 20 tapes, for example, for this one role, and it's the same line, I'm watching this 20 times, and someone throws in a different line, you've got my attention, because then I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, where's this going? So I would pick and choose when actors do that. But even, someone like Christopher Nolan, who loves an extreme close-up, I might do my tape here.
Ooh, interesting.
So knowing a little bit about your director can definitely help a tape.
Okay. Anita, I would be working for Guy Ritchie. It seems like a lot, because I do the ad-lib one. If I have 10 auditions, 11 out of 10 auditions, I do with the ad-lib in the front. That's just the way I am. And I said that when I was in London, actually. That's how a lot of people we've had on from London. A casting director at one of the workshops, she asked me, she's like, Brandon, whenever you do an audition, do you usually do like ad-libbing like that or do you usually do that kind of ad-libbing? And I told her that, you know what? I would go in, if you called in 10 people, I would be, 9 of those people would do it the exact same way. But I'll be that one person that did it, the 10th person that did it differently. I would do that ad-lib in the beginning because that would stand out. And I said to her, I would rather not book the role and book the room instead and show you, hey, look, I have that ability to do this. And then that, I feel like that's a risk I'm willing to take because I feel like that would get your attention. And she says, you know what? I really respect that. But I said, also at the same time, I will also send a second form of it where I do it exactly how you have it. So you have that if you need it. So it's not that I'm very teachable, but that's the risk that my heart is telling me. That is the choice that I'm willing to do. And like you said, with the laughing going into it, I might even tell a 10-second joke that I could just do right there that would be something for a laugh. So that's just my little 2 cents on that part.
Always send two tapes. And if you're going to send two, make sure they're very, very different because I don't want to watch the same thing twice.
Okay. Yeah, that's important too.
And that's what
I'm glad
Brandon
you
does that well. That Brandon does that well. And when we used to be doing his dad and I would do the reading part for him, we never wanted to mess up because we wanted to make sure he did his lines, and then he would take it from off of the paper. And we were like, wait a minute, where's our line? Where we supposed to read in? But it did get our attention as his parents, like, wait a minute, he is going off the paper. Now, I think somewhere along the line, you probably appreciate that more from a seasoned actor. And Brandon, you're seasoned because you've been on 80 something shows. But at any rate, boredom can set up if I were to hear the same line. And you tell us, Anita, your thoughts on this. Is this why you said 50-50 earlier? Because if you see the actor walk in the room, you can kind of pick up on some things that you may not be able to pick up on the self-tape.
Absolutely. You can see their character. You can also see, is this person going to be able to be polite and get along with 100 other people on set?
Uh-huh.
Which is just as important. You know, we want to put people forward who are kind and friendly and will do us proud, of course.
Absolutely. Well, Mom, I want to say you and Dad were phenomenal readers. In fact, you guys are the best I've ever seen.
Thank you, Brandon. I like how you can do it all by yourself now and change your voices and all kinds of things. That's good.
Thanks,
That's
Mom.
good.
Anita, I'm going to ask you. This is going to lead into the actor side of things with you. But this is going to be a two-part question because I want to hear from the casting side and the acting side right here. So this is the first question for you. What's better, perfect technique or authentic presence?
From the way Dan cast, definitely authentic presence. We want to see you.
All right. Now for you as an actress, with knowing that information from having worked, having seen this and been on the casting side of it, how are you taking that into your auditions now? Does knowing the casting side make auditions less scary or does it make it more stressful? Are you overthinking now, maybe even?
It depends because there was this weekend, actually, I taped for a production company that we just worked with who we're going to be working with again very shortly. So that was, I put pressure on myself because I'm thinking, oh, this big producer is going to see this and he's going to see my name, or maybe he won't see it. If I'm shortlisted, he'll see it, sure. But yeah, I sort of put pressure on myself, being like, oh no, I have to do a good job. But then I got in my head too much and I was like, you know what? Stop. It's not that deep. Like it's just showbiz.
Yeah.
So let me just do the work and it will be what it will be. And then I'll leave it, I'll rip up the script and I'll walk away from it and I'll forget about it because we have to, or we will get sad.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, Anita, because I want people to hear that you are human, first off, but like to hear you humanize it. Because when I tell friends of mine in London, I'm like, hey, go do Anita's class, and if they've done it, or some of it, like they're like, hey man, oh my god, like I messed up. I was so nervous around it. I'm like, dude, Anita's cool, but it's cool because I think it'd be great.
I'm nervous watching. What do you mean?
Oh yeah.
Notes?
Yeah. So it's good. It's good for people to know that. Like I think. One of the reasons I actually initially did showcases and all that is because and that's when the auditions were in the room, is I wanted to get over the nervousness I had of meeting that casting director or that casting associate or that executive casting assistant. Because it was preparing, I kind of felt like it was friends. We're friends at that point. So I'm good to go. Like I don't have that initial nerves. But back with you being an actress, what emotional struggles do you think actors go through that people outside the industry never understand?
Honestly, the constant rejection and something like being penciled and then it not going your way. Like, I get that that's tough. I mean, I had
Mhm.
it was between me and one other lady
Oh.
who she got it and she absolutely smashed it. And I was like, yeah, they made the right choice. So well done. But because I just did such a different take on it. It was really fascinating to see what
Mhm.
direction that they went with. Um, but also the mentality of immersing ourselves into the character. And I just watched the film recently called Mother Mary, which is with Michaela Cole and Anne Hathaway. And I just can't get my head around having to live those emotions daily and then be able to pull yourself out. Like,
Mhm.
it's so, we just need to protect ourselves because, you know, it can be harmful and it can be dangerous for ourselves to get into that mentality and stay there daily and then pulling ourselves out and saying, okay, I'm going home now. I'm Anita and this is my life and I'm leaving everything there, you know, on
Mhm.
set.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You
Okay.
you mentioned
Brilliant.
something about rejection. How do you keep confidence? Because we look at children when you tell them no and stop or not don't like it. How do you keep your confidence when you have received rejection?
The thing that helps me the most is after a tape, I'll rip up the script and I'll try and forget about it because
Mhm.
our confidence, it comes from believing in our delusion and our affirmations and just believing that it's
Mhm.
going to happen
Mhm.
exactly when it's supposed to
Mhm.
because I want it to.
Yes,
So
yes,
if I
yes.
believe that this is
That's
going to
it.
happen for me, then it's going to happen for me. And it's
That's
going to happen
correct.
exactly when it's supposed to. It might not happen until I'm 40, 50 years old, but that's fine because I'm on my path and
Yeah.
I'm not comparing myself to, you know, I mean, there's so many talented Australian actors as well. Look at Millie Alcock. Like, she's absolutely smashing it.
Uh-huh.
Supergirl.
Okay. You know what?
And she did what else did she do? She did House of the Dragon. She was
Okay.
phenomenal. And
Okay.
her
Uh-huh.
career picked up at a lot younger than my age. But if I compare myself to another Aussie actress that's, you know, like, you just clap for those people because you like, yes,
Yeah.
you deserve it. You're fantastic. Well done. My journey is
Yeah.
different and I'll
Yeah.
get there when I'm supposed to
Yeah.
get there. And
Amen.
Exactly.
I
I
was saying
always
about
I
my
always
friend.
say God puts you on a highway that he wants for you.
mhm.
Or if some people don't believe in God or whether they do or not, that's who they are, but who I am. You can be on a two-way highway, a one-way road, or a 16 highway. I always compare it to the 405 in California. I always tell Brian about the 405 because I think that's the most congested highway I've ever been on. But at any rate, I think in the time, and I'm looking at it, and I'm so glad Brandon and I look at old shows sometimes, and you see where an actor has come from and where that actor has or is now and how far they have grown. And then you see some other actors who've started early, and they no longer are seen. So I think it's called like comedic timing. I always tell Brandon he has he could be a true comedian, but I think in time of this life and life's journey, you are on the correct journey or highway when you're supposed to be there. And no regrets what happened behind. Learn from those and keep moving forward. That's just my thought. And I love hearing you say that as well with your
Yeah. What is for me can't be taken away from me. And
Amen.
sure.
I just need to believe that it's going to happen exactly when it's supposed to. And you do
Uh-huh.
just need to be your own biggest cheerleader.
That's
Yeah.
And
correct.
you have to keep going because the second you stop,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
not going to
It's
happen then. So
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
just keep going.
Anita, first off, you're a talented and amazing Australian actress as well, and your time
Thank
is
you.
coming. And then when you said that that other girl ended up getting it, I know how crushing that could be, but that also means that you're one step closer. Now that I don't want to say that she's off the chess playing board, but it's with that particular show or depending, it's you're next. Like it's and the casting director gave me that advice years ago. The fact that if this person's going off, Brandon, you're getting that much. You continue to go up. You're getting pinned here for a reason. It's we're going to get you in there, and eventually it's happened religiously in Los Angeles, and it's happened in New York, where though there are
There's
people
always
going before
season
me.
2.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We'll
And you
go
know what?
again next year.
Anita, I've told myself that more times. I told myself that with Power, and I eventually got Power. I told myself that with Ozark. I initially got Ozark. Blue was when I had the producer on here, and I told her that I decided after the 9th callback I wasn't coming back anymore, and I was so ticked off going into that audition that after I finished, they said out loud, they're like, "Man, if you aren't a New York cop." And everybody in the room started laughing, and that ended up turning into me being on that show for 5 years. So, and I made my mind up. I was never coming back in there again. And it just happened that it worked out that that was my time. And they ended up being amazing in my lifetime. When my dad passed, they had me come back. So I just want to say that your time is 1000% coming. And then you should also be proud of yourself too, because you are far from home. And you have made a name for yourself in a business that most people were too afraid to even try to go after. Most people are too afraid to try and leave their home, and you have managed to do all that. Not only have you left home, but you are making in a business that most people would never do. You're killing two hard birds with one stone, but that's something most people don't even try. And you're already winning at life because you've already taken those steps of doing that those other people haven't.
That's so true. So true.
Sorry, different kind of preacher.
What
I
I will
understand.
say, touching on that, is what I will say is I used the skills that I had because, I'd been a PA for many, many years, and to use the skills that you have. So if I was back waitressing, I would be looking at getting a position at a Soho House, or how can I place myself into the scenario of where I know I'm going to meet casting directors or industry personnel. So, I mean, at BAFTA, there's a restaurant at BAFTA. They have a building, and there's a restaurant at BAFTA. Why not apply to be a waitress in the restaurant in BAFTA? Or, just using the skills that you have to try your hardest to get to the places where you want to be. It's all about placement. And yeah, I'm just a firm believer of placing yourself in those rooms.
Amen. You got that mentality. You work hard, and what you're saying is that not only do you work hard, but you're strategic about what you're using your brain to the max of putting yourself in the best position to succeed.
That is wonderful. Hey, I want to ask a question. Now, to both of you, I've heard actors, actresses. What do you all love to be called, female and male? Just actors?
Oh yeah. I don't know, Anita. So I don't have to be answer that. I'm so always switching up what to call. I don't know.
And I'm always
I say actor for myself.
Okay.
But I mean, for me, it's potato. I'm not really too fussed.
Okay.
Well, but I always naturally just say actor.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. That's great.
I'll stick with that.
One thing I am listening as I listen to everything that you both said. Anita, you must have a fabulous, fantastic boss or manager or whoever runs Dan. His name Dan. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I can tell when people are happy at what they do. You have spoken about you refer to him in the South, we always call boss, but manager, supervisor. You have spoken about him in such a positive light from the start of this conversation to now. And I know when people, whether they work for someone or the organization they work within, if it is the real, authentic organization, it will continue to excel in any business or whatever. But I've heard you, and I would love to meet this Dan because he could probably set a mold for a lot of people to actually follow. And see, I can see the smile you have, the happiness you're feeling. You're in your right lane right about now. And you're still looking at other lanes, and that's just so great. I just wanted to mention that to you.
He is the most incredible, kindest man that just has the biggest heart and passion for what he does. And for him to give me this opportunity, I don't know any other actors who are working in casting offices. So
Wow.
for him, you know, I applied for another office before I applied for him, and the casting director said, "Isn't she an actress?" So I mean, for him to give me
No.
this to trust me and
Oh,
have me
yes.
on board, I'm just so forever grateful to him.
Oh,
And
well.
it doesn't feel like work. Like I'll work sometimes, I shouldn't say this, but you know, some days I'll work until 11 o'clock at night, or if
Mm-hmm.
I'm still messaging with America because they're a lot, you guys are a lot behind
Love
us,
Papa. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be up until 1 a.m. because I just love what I do so much.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So it's not a job. It is a
It's
career,
not.
and your 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 boss or manager or owner of the company, he has seen your, and I want all of our guests out there to understand this. Not only our guests, but our following that we have in different continents and countries and cities, that when you have a great manager, as you can see, I see the smile, the glow. You talk about him, Anita, like it's not that you are clocked in at a certain time, whatever. You enjoy what you do. He makes the atmosphere, the whole, everything, and you work more because you want to. You enjoy this.
Mhm.
It's not work. It's something that you're accomplishing with a mission. And I see that glow. And whoever this Dan is, Dan, you know, I'm telling you, doing something right. And I've worked with a lot of people, and I've worked in managerial roles as well. But this makes me happy that managers like you now have, or owners or producers or whatever, they still exist within your industry, or they exist in the world. And that makes this world just continue to be such a beautiful place to live and do what everybody does, in a positive fashion. All right, Brandon, I can take over
Re-
conversation, but Anita
Oh, you're
is
good.
like,
You're good,
I've
Mom.
known you so, you've known her so well. It's like she's almost family to me.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it's like talking like that with her.
No, you're good. Anita, before I go into the lightning round, what type of roles would you like to play as
For
an actor?
myself,
Yeah,
I,
Mm.
I'd love to be a villain.
you
Oh.
would be great at that.
I would. Thank you.
I mean
I
that in the
would
best way
love.
possible.
I love action, so I do a lot of kickboxing. I really enjoy physicality, so I would love to be like a
Mhm.
Marvel villain. That's the goal.
Mm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Do you do what about James Bond? I feel like you work in that world as a villain
Bond
too.
as well, 100%.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then do you do comedy at all? Is comedy a forte of yours?
I love comedy, so
Okay.
that was what I was
Oh.
shortlisted on.
Oh,
That was what I
really?
was penciled for. Was for a comedy role,
Oh.
Holy smokes. Well,
and I was
that's something
ad
you'll get that.
libbing. I was having a great time.
Uh-huh.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. So comedy and so villain and comedy. All right. I think that you can definitely do that. And then Anita, I'm about to go into the lightning round. Mom, did you have any more questions that off the top, or is there anything you think of that you want to ask her?
No, I think I have asked everything I have right now, so on my mind. So that's great. Whatever you want to do next, son, that's up to you.
Okay, Anita, I'm gonna start with this one first before I get into the complete lightning round. If you could go back and tell your 18-year-old self anything or your younger self anything, what would that be? And you can make that as long as you want to.
Uh, Network sideways.
Ooh, explain.
A lot of people try and network and meet the people at the top who they think that they can take them to the places.
Yeah.
But I mean, whenever we do workshops, there's 20 other actors in the room. There's
Mm-hmm.
someone that can read in with me. There's someone that can make a short film with me,
Hmm.
or help me, you know, at a different capacity. So I think a lot of people should try to network sideways.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you for that. Um, has there ever been the funniest audition moment you've ever seen? Has there ever been one that just stuck out to you like, man, this really made me laugh?
And you know what's so difficult is when I'm reading with the actors. There's been a lot of times where we're doing funny scenes, like we cast the gentleman. It's the
Yeah.
script is just hilarious, and I'm reading a scene with the actors, and I'm trying not to laugh. It's difficult.
Yeah. Okay. And then have you ever walked in and instantly knew someone had it? Like they walked in like, yo, that person's it.
I try not to, like I try
Ooh.
to keep my brain open to receiving
Mhm.
Oh,
and
yeah.
not switch. Like I'll definitely make a star or say yes, they were very special,
Okay.
but I try not to just immediately go, oh my gosh, it's that person, no one else.
Okay.
Because then that's not fair for the other
Yeah.
actors who come in afterwards. But I'll definitely think, oh, they were very talented.
Okay. I appreciate that. All right, here goes the lightning round. Let's see here. Standout actor in one word.
Brave.
Most overrated habit.
Licking their lips.
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
Oh, sorry. Overrated habit.
Oh, yeah, most overrated habit.
Repeating a word.
Okay. Does understanding casting reduce stress or increase it?
Both.
Okay.
No, reduce.
Okay. Most underrated quality.
Listening.
Listen.
Mhm.
You said this before, but I'm gonna have you repeat it again. First 10 seconds, how important is that?
The most.
All right. One thing to stop doing.
Licking your lips.
Oh, licking your lip. People actually do that?
As a habit, yeah, I talk a lot in my workshops about habits.
Hmm.
Licking the lips is a bit of a nervous tick that I've clocked.
Really? Okay. That's a lot of auditions that you're saying that you clock that. One thing to start doing.
An action at the top of the scene.
Okay. By the way, you're just confirming everything that I've been doing, so I appreciate you so much. Between acting and casting, which one gives you a better adrenaline rush?
Both.
Oh, both of them? Okay. One myth about casting that needs to die immediately.
We make all the decisions.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I think I'll just say this one now. You said it before, but I'll have you say it one more time. How important is kindness and professionalism in a long-term casting memory?
Always the most.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what for you, this is my final question. What next for you personally excites you the most?
You will know at the end of this year.
Okay,
Oh.
that's amazing. Wow, all right. That's a big cliffhanger there. You heard it first in the
Watch
book
this
club
space.
podcast. Okay. Well, Anita, I love you personally as a friend. You were an amazing human being. I can't thank you enough for all you've done for me in my lifetime. Meeting up with me in London and showing me around, doing the voiceover for my phone off our podcast, which is amazing, and then also being the voicemail on my phone. Hundreds of people have been like, who's this girl on your phone? Or like, I think I have the wrong number. Or who is it? Like, you have intrigued more people by your voice, but that also speaks to your talent as just God bless you with. So I am so grateful that I am lucky enough to say that I'm friends with you and that I've been blessed to be in your life. I'm grateful for you too. In like the last 11 years. And I look forward to the years that come next time in London.
Isn't it? That is a long time. No, honestly, everything that you said to me completely back at you. Like,
Absolutely.
you've been such a friend and helped me out in America as well, so much. And yeah, for the next 10.
Absolutely. I'll let mom finish it out. And after she does, Anita, any handle or anywhere you want people to find you, make sure you mention that. Unless you want to mention that now, and then I have mom close it out.
And
My Instagram is anita.brajkovich. It's very difficult to spell, so I'm sure that
I'll
you'll.
put it up there for you.
Sure.
Okay, and then mom, you can take it away.
okay, and don't forget, Anita, send Brandon the picture
Oh, she
that
did.
you want. And we always tell everyone too that don't forget to tell your friends. And this has been just a phenomenal, amazing interview to download it so they can see you in action, Anita, your friends. So thank you for your insight today. You brought clarity to something that so many people and our listeners and people in different countries are trying to understand. And what stands out is not just what you do, but how you see that awareness, that discernment. That's powerful, Anita. Thank you for being with us on the Buckle Up podcast universe today. And then always remember, what do we say, Brandon? Stay aware.
Yeah.
And
Thank
it's
you for
one
having me.
stay aware and don't forget to buckle up. All righty.
You're
Stay
more than
aware
welcome, Anita.
and buckle up. Thank you so much. And what did you say, Anita?
So
Didn't
much
want to
love.
cut you off. Thanks for
No,
having.
sorry. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
You guys hold a very special place in my heart. So
as
Ditto.
well
it's been a
as you.
pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you
Absolutely, Anita.
so
Hey, to give
much.
everyone
Okay,
a round of
Brandon.
applause.
All right,
Yeah, you knocked it out the park, my dear.
thank you. Thank you so
Thank you, guys.
much.
All right, we'll get. I'll have this back to you. I'll send it to you tonight, but you can watch it whenever. All right,
Cheers
take care,
to that.
Anita.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. She was wonderful.
Brandon, she understands both sides. That's not common what she's done.
It's
That's
not common at
awareness and
all.
experience.